Today we're looking at The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. We're playing through Hyrule Castle. They start you off in Link's house. In case you hadn't picked up the lamp earlier, this is the second time they give it to you. The first time was in your house, but just in case you weren't curious enough to open that treasure chest, they put it over here, and they give you a sample lamp to turn on. And you notice immediately the room gets brighter. Walk in, you see a bunch of the lamps just like the one you passed by earlier. They're all lit. These are lanterns. This is where fire goes. A lot of symmetry to try to make sure you don't explore too much. You just like already know what this place is shaped like. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I can't do anything here. It's I did one half. The place is symmetrical. The other half is probably the exact same thing. They didn't exactly have a three-dimensional game yet, but the levels are designed like there's 3 dimensions. They have overpasses and bridges you can go under. So it's effectively a vertical 3D level. You also see 2 doors. The doors are visible from each other. They're spaced out so you can see the other door, and you can tell that you could just walk up there if you want. If you don't want to fight these enemies, you could just choose to go up ahead and from above go around them, and maybe sometimes that'll be a smarter path in a dungeon. And then there's a big inviting staircase with a gigantic arrow on top of the doorway. Just telling you, come down here, go this way. As if I guess the people working in this castle aren't smart enough to realize how the stairs work. And then they put you in this room. This room is, you're locked in. If you try to get out and run away from this guy, there's a locked door. You can't do anything. You have a treasure chest that might be too scary to open because there's a guy with a sword chasing after you. It's a different color than the other ones. And if you played Mario, maybe you might know that different colored enemies mean they're almost the same, but maybe one property about them slightly different. He has a little bit more health than the green one, so he drops a key, but that's not the key to this treasure chest. It's the key to that door. So they force you to fight. In case you haven't fought anyone and you've just been running by everybody this whole time, you're gonna have to fight in Zelda. Link's gonna have to get his hands dirty. This is a pretty linear dungeon as far as Zelda goes. This next room is great. From up here, you have that, once again, 3-dimensionality of being up higher. The guy down there can't see you because you're above him. You also see that there's just a gap that leads to nowhere. This is a very Mario type concept, looking like a platformer would have. You know, if someone falls down that pit, they ain't coming back. You can just do this. And that's the whole point, is to try to get you to push them off the edge. You can see a place over there across from you. You can't get up there. The guys can see you now because you're no longer elevated from them, so it teaches you about how the AI works when it comes to detecting Link. There's also a lot more open area. The player is more likely to learn that they can instant kill small enemies just by pushing them off the edge, and they're trying to give you a lot of opportunities to learn that right here. Like that. There's now another elevated path, thus once again teaching you about the 3-dimensionality of the level design. On their way back out of here, they can always take the high road. In fact, they might just want to take the high road right now and check out the other side of it. So they go down here, and if they've learned, they've snuck around that little gauntlet there. We enter this room, and there's no way out. There's no running back like there was before with the stairs. There's just these doors with angry eyes on them. They tell the player, you can't get out. They killed the guy expecting to get a key like last time, but instead, the doors open, which enforces that they don't need a key. They need you to kill. Look at those eyes. That guy does not blink, and whatever's in front of him gets destroyed. Once again, they lock you in a room. You know what to do. You are now a hardened killer. You enjoyed the killing. And then they have this room here just to show you you're going way down in the depths. And then you get this other transition room, which I think it's just to make it feel more dramatic. To make it feel like you're going even further down beneath the castle. So you go there, and there's like a big wooden table. They like to put things in between these rooms. So you can play Duck Duck Goose with these soldiers and run around things and have something to defend himself with. This room over here, there's a bunch of stuff in it. It teaches you can pick stuff up and do them. They gave you a lot of opportunities on your way to the castle to do that, but hopefully by now you can figure out that you can pick things up and throw them. And once you go to the right, you see the princess, and you see this bad dude. One way Nintendo designers let you beat him is by throwing those pots. Another way of beating him that they gave you was the boomerang. It also outranges his ranged weapon. Link can't just beat every enemy with his sword. He will need to combine his sword with other items and other objects. So he's killed, and he drops a gigantic looking key that also has eyes like the doors from earlier. Why are there eyes? Why did the king want evil eyes on anything? And you have this gigantic keyhole right here. You open that door, and you go straight for the treasure chest. So now you're on an escort mission. This room, returning to it, teaches you that once you fulfill the condition for unlocking doors, they remain unlocked. Meanwhile, optional enemies, like this guy over here, will just still be alive. Just head in a straight line and head up these stairs and avoid him, which he can't follow you. It just gives you a way just to bypass him and be on that path that you saw earlier. So it teaches you to try to be aware of the geometry and topography of the dungeons. Zelda's a game about going to like a really complicated department store and trying to be unlost as soon as possible. If you take too long, she'll tell you that there's a entrance in the throne room. I think they didn't want the castle to seem too boring by having it be a linear straight line, so they made this large place, and they still made it almost a mirror image of itself, just to make it so you'd be less likely to want to explore it. You just assume that you saw one half of the mirror, you know what the other half of the room is like. So she tries to encourage you to have a lamp on you. If you didn't pick up the lamp the first 2 times, I think in the bottom of the dungeon, the chest that just had money in it also had the lamp in it with Zelda, so they really wanted you to get this lamp. Now it's dark, and yeah, pickups for magic juice. You'll see your green meter, which you start the game with empty, filling up, which tells you you're going to need to use it. That's the top way Zelda designers like to tell you need to use something. It's just by giving you pickups inside these pots are always breaking for that thing. If you break something and there's arrows, you're going to need arrows soon. You see another one of these things that are lit, hopefully you get how to use them. And once you do it, the room gets a little brighter, the game gets a little easier to play. You see another one, it gets even brighter than that. So this one's definitely linear. You also learn about how water works right here. There's a rat that like won't leave his spot. A lot of animal enemies won't leave if there's water. Enemies that stay in water will just go in the water and move around, but they won't come on land. So from here, you can see the door over there. It's locked. You walk over here, you can see that there's nothing but these 2 bad enemies and a lamp. The other way, there's rats, so every time there's a dead end, Link always has the option to just kill things. It breaks up the monotony of doing puzzle or exploration after a while. Like the pacing of just constantly being lost or constantly not knowing how to figure out a puzzle will get tiring, so you can always break that up with some easy violence. Violence is a good palate cleanser. There's a little block puzzle, but only 1 block moves. You can push blocks. You see a block, just like how you push that big thing in the sanctuary. You can go and push this. And here's a little trick they give just to mess with the players. There's absolutely no like logic or any good reasoning behind this. Like, okay, you gotta pick the right lever, Link. Who knows which one that is? And you pull it, and it's wrong. But they're teaching how levers work. It's kind of funny. Link just put a bunch of snakes on him. And then if you still haven't figured it out, she tells you what to do. They do a lot of text tutorialization. Level design sometimes on its own isn't good enough to teach people stuff. So you pull the second lever, the door opens, and you are out. So this sets you up for the rest of the game and teaches you how to explore any of these indoor environments Zelda will give you. That was the first dungeon from Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Thank you for watching.